Finalizing, and I'm here today with 2016 Project Life, and I am working today on week 20. This week, my husband was out of town traveling for his work, and so I am doing another documentation of his travel compared to our week here at home. And so he participates. I've done this in the past, a couple of months ago. He participates. He sends me pictures throughout the week of what he's doing and where he is. And I send him pictures. It's one way that we stay connected while he's gone. And then I put them on a layout, sort of a his and hers kind of layout. And so that's what I'm doing today. Yes, there are 4 pages on this layout, and I'm working with some Ali Edwards products. The journaling cards that you see right now, those are Ali Edwards This and That journaling cards. And I'm also going to be using some of the Pink Paisley C'est La Vie collection for embellishments. And then there's also a stamp set from One Little Bird that I'm going to be using as well. So I'll point that out when you see it. And so this week my husband was in Boston, and the large photo is actually one that he took and sent to me. So that photo is courtesy of Alan. And I'm just going to embellish that large photo a little bit, and I'm going to add the word Boston using these black watercolor acrylic letters from Pink Paisley. And so the layout itself was created in the Project Life app using Project 52 journaling cards, and the week card is also Project 52 2016. And so I've chosen repetitive cards. I've used repetitive cards, very angular, very linear, and so I sort of have in my mind what I'm getting ready to do with this layout, and then you'll see me process through it and figure it out. Right now, I'm going to try to put some decorative elements across the bottom of that photo. That's what I was originally thinking. And then I decided I'm just going through looking for some products to put across there, and trying different things. And then I decide that maybe I should just use that white space up there in the sky and add my embellishment there. So my idea was to use some of the journaling cards to cut them up for embellishments. So I'm going to use this Hello Today as a banner at the top. So I'm just trimming that down. And then I'm also going to stamp the days of the week onto that. Now, my original intent was to say these were the days that Alan was in Boston, which was Sunday through Friday. That's what I originally intended to put down there, but then I forgot, and I ended up putting Monday through Friday. So, but no big deal. So I'm going to stamp that down right here. And that's the One Little Bird stamp set from Studio Calico. And then I'm going to trim that down, and it gets stapled to the top of that photo. I'm also going to add a geotag from Pink Paisley. And then that photo is embellished. That's all I'm going to do to it. Now I'm thinking about how I want to put these letters down, and I decide I'm going to use glue dots. these alphabets, they are black watercolor look on acetate or acrylic. So, and I found that the glue dots didn't really show through for me. Your mileage may vary on that. You may see them and it might bother you. I don't know. But I was okay with it. So I just put those down. And I know they kind of get a little lost with that black angular portion, but it's okay. I think you get the idea. I do like the graphic look of these black letters. They're really cool. So that was a good way to use those. I'm also going to add a couple of stamped embellishments to this card. I decided to put the year at the bottom. That one little bird stamp set has a couple of 2016s on it. So that turned out really cool. And then I'm also going to use this word strip. And that's going to go underneath that line. There we go. Okay, and then moving along, I'm going to add a few embellishments to the week card. And if you're wondering, you're not going crazy. I did put May 15 through 21 on this date card, and that is also the date that I put on last week's Project Life layout as well. I will probably end up, this week is correct, it's last week that's incorrect. So I'll probably end up going back and changing or fixing last week's, but for now it's just okay, it's fine. But this one is correct. This is May 15th through the 21st. So I'm just using some of these washi tapes here to embellish this card. I repeated the hexagon shape, which is awesome. I love it. And then added a couple of word strips there. And I think that's it for that side. Okay, so I'm going to remove that and then move to page 2. And I know this is long. There was a lot to this layout with 4 pages. And that's okay. And so I have in mind already sort of what I want to do with these journaling cards. And what I'm going to do is add the day of the week, the time stamp, and AM or PM. And so you'll see it'll take me a few minutes to figure out how I wanted to lay that out. And I decided to go ahead and lay all of the letters and numbers on the stamp block and stamp it all at the same time. Now, I'm gonna talk to you a minute about stamping. One of my lovely followers, Marian Garcia. Hi, Marian. She had asked me about using StazOn this photo paper, because this is photo paper. This is HP photo paper that I buy from Office Depot whenever it's buy one get one, and I print these at home. These are printed on my Epson Workforce large format printer using Epson ink. And so there are some challenges in stamping on this. And I've also had some people comment that my StazOn needs re-inking. And so I wanted to say that there are 3, when you are stamping images, there are 3 variables that affect how that stamped image comes out. Your paper that you're stamping on, your stamps themselves, and the stamp pad that you're using. So all 3 of these factor into what happens when you lay that image down. And yes, photo paper is very sticky. You saw me last week get in trouble with those silk screens because of the sticky back on the silk screen and the sticky photo paper. And yes, photo paper is sticky. And these photopolymer, I guess, stamps are sticky. And I haven't really researched, like, what do you do with sticky stamps on sticky paper? So I'm just flying off the hip here. And I have a caveat. And my caveat is this: I am stamping these images because I want a stamped look. So I'm not going for perfection when I stamp these. That I just want to put that out there. If I wanted these letters and numbers to be perfectly set on the page, I would add them in Photoshop and then print the pages with them already on there. I would let the printer do that work, because the printer will give me the refined edges that a printed letter and number gives. But I'm using my stamps because I want a stamped image, and so that means that I want the rough look. I want them to be not perfect. And so that's the look that I'm going for here. You will find that using some of these clear stamps will stick to your page. I haven't found that they lift any paper up or anything like that, but they are sticky on there, and I don't know that you can really do anything about that, because they're plastic stamps that you're setting down on a plastic paper. So that's my thoughts about that. I say put the stamp down on the paper and then move forward, right? If it's not perfect, it's not perfect. And I've said this before, there are no perfect layouts coming out of this studio. There's not a single thing on any of these 4 pages that is perfect. My photos aren't perfect. My stamping's not perfect. One thing I will say about this layout is that it is very angular and very gridded and very linear, very right, very geometric, and the stamped letters and numbers give a visual break from all the angularity and all the linear elements of this page. So it is sort of a relief, a unexpected grunge element on a very linear layout. And so there's an artistic value in that too. So there you go. Your mileage may vary. What you can do, if you absolutely cannot take these stamps, using them on photo paper, what you can do is have your pages printed out without photos on regular cardstock. Whether you want textured cardstock or solid cardstock, you can do that and then have your photos printed separately. What I would recommend doing is, when you create, if you want to do it that way, when you create your layout, the Project Life app has neutral cards, and so put in a white neutral card in place of your photos and add a simple text of what photo you want to use so that you know what photo you were planning to use, and then have your photos printed separately on photo paper, and then you don't have to worry about that. Then you can get the stamped images that you want to. And also, Ali Edwards is getting ready to release a set of stamp pads that are designed to work on photo paper. So I'm excited about that, and you'll see that in the next couple of months. You'll see me try that. I may do that may actually be a good tutorial kind of thing that I may do in the future. And I have to tell you that, I don't have a lot of money to go out and replace all my StazOn ink pads. I've been using those for a long time. StazOn has always been a favorite of mine. I like StazOn stamp pads, and I like my Stampin' Up! My Stampin' Up! Stamp pads, although I don't use those as often because I'm working on photo paper here. So it's expensive to try and replace all those, and I may just collect one or two here and there because I can't afford a whole set of stamp pads all at once. So, my thing is use what you have, except that when you are stamping images, you're stamping images because you want them to look stamped, not because you want them to look perfect. If you want perfect images on your photos and on your layouts, then add them in Photoshop and then have them printed out. Okay, so enough of my ramblings about stamping. I hope that was helpful for you and sort of where my frame of mind is when I'm stamping on these. It definitely is something that I can research more and try different things. But I did want to say that there are 3 factors to your stamped images that all have to be taken into consideration here. So back to the layout. I think we're on page 3 here. And so again, I've just added those date and time stamps, and then I'm adding a few embellishments to each of the photos. And these are just photos from the week. There's no real pattern or rhyme or rhythm to the photos that are included. It's simply, here's what was going on for him, and here's what was going on for me or for us around the same time. And some of Alan's photos didn't come until later that night, but that's okay. Now if you're wondering what am I going to do about my journaling, I will tell you that at this point I know that I'm going to do an insert for my journaling. And that's all I've thought about it, because I know that I want to sit down and write a page or so, a couple of paragraphs about the week in general. And I also want Alan to do the same thing, and he has agreed to do that. But we haven't actually sat down and written that at this stage. So at the end of the video, I will step in and I'll tell you what ends up happening with the journaling. But that will be included in an insert. For the purposes of the layout, I just wanted photos with the timestamp was really what I wanted on the layout. It's the layouts itself, or the layouts themselves. Okay. Whew, it's still early. I haven't got my talk mouth in place yet. So, and I know this is a long process. 30 minutes. Whew. So, but it was worth it. It was worth it to spend this time putting this layout together and to get all this documented. It really makes me happy that Alan likes to participate and he likes to send me pictures and he likes seeing these layouts come together too. It's a lot of fun, and it helps us stay connected during the week. I can't lie, it's a struggle for me when he's gone, and although this was a good trip, nothing happened while he was gone or anything, so that's a good thing. So one of the challenges with this stamp set, this is Ali Edwards 3x4 numbers, but sometimes you have to stamp 2 zeros. So I used the 0 that was in line with the other letter, with the other words, and then I went back and added the 4 and the 0. So that's one way you can do it. I'm sure there's other ways too. And again, you can always stamp these words, each of these elements individually. I just decided because I knew there were 9, right? There were 9 of these that I stamped. So I knew that I wanted to get it done quick and move forward. This layout did take quite a bit of time. It took a bit of time to get it arranged in the app itself. It took a bit of time to organize and select the photos that I wanted to use and the ones that made sense. So I ended up pulling all of the photos from the week. I don't know exactly how many there were from the whole week, but I ended up pulling all of them into Lightroom and then selecting that way so that I could sort of track the time that they were taken and put them into some sort of order. So, and then just quickly about the way I embellished this layout. I used a combination of elements from the journaling cards and also the washi tape from Pink Paisley and the puffy stickers from Pink Paisley. So it's just a combination, and not really, I didn't really spend a lot of time obsessing over what I was going to add to where. And I just put it down, right? Nothing complicated here. And I think that that pack of washi tape will probably be what goes down as one of the products that I've used the most of. So I'm definitely happy about that. I'm happy about using those products in that C'est La Vie collection. I know in the beginning I was not putting an embellishment on each one of those triangles, but I did go back and add. And so you'll see me doing that here. I'm going back and making sure that every one of those has some form of embellishment, so that each square has something that's added to it. And then those still needed something added. There we go. And I think I'm working on that picture. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing. Alright, but this portion of the video is about to wrap up, and then I'll be coming back on and we'll explain to you what I'm going to do with the journaling. Okay, so I wanted to jump on here real quick and talk to you about what I ended up doing with my journaling for this layout. I knew that I wanted to get onto paper what I had in my head already, which was the 4 pages and my stamped elements and a couple of embellishments here and there. And then I knew that I wanted to do an insert with journaling, and I wanted to do sort of a he said, she said, or her side, his side of the story, something like that. And so I sat down and wrote out my journaling and what I wanted to say, and then I asked Alan if he wanted to sit down and write out his journaling, if he just wanted to put in a couple of paragraphs. And not only did he want to write some, but he wrote 2 pages. And so his story is included here, and I just wanted to come on here and show you, because I ended up doing this all digitally in Photoshop. I have to be honest and say that I'm not a Photoshop tutorial resource. So to show my process would have been excruciating for you. But I did just want to show you what I ended up doing, because it is the journaling portion, and it is a good way to include your journaling when there's a longer story. And I know Allie Edwards does this a lot. She puts her journaling on an insert. And it's just a great way to say more than just a 3x3 or a 4x4 card. And in this instance, after I saw, that he had written 2 pages, it was the only way to make sure that that all got included. And it's, it becomes a treasure, actually, that his story is in here. So I had gotten a map from, Alan had brought home the map that he got from the rental car agency, and he had given that to me, and I ended up scanning it in to my large format printer, and then I brought it into Photoshop and manipulated it a little bit, front and back. And so this is a copy of the front of the map as I scanned it in. And I may end up just dropping the whole map itself in there. I'm not sure yet. But that's that. And then I did both. There's 2 inserts. I did both of them on 12 by 12, but intentionally split them in half. So this is my side. And I probably will have to end up saying this is for me somehow. I hadn't really thought about that yet. But basically, the map itself is on a layer underneath the text, and then the text is black on a white layer, and the opacity of the white layer has been decreased. I think it's at probably 70% or 75%. And then I pulled in my text from Word and created the paragraphs using the heart digital stickers from, I can't remember which Allie Edwards kit those were in now. Probably Heart, duh. But those were from the Allie Edwards digital kit, and then the Stronger at the Broken Places and this banner are both from the Tough kit. And so this is aligned with the margins of the text. And then the banner goes all the way across. And so this is my part of the story. And then for his part of the story, I used the back side of the map. And again, originally I did this in 12 by 12, with both sides next to each other, mainly so I could sort of make sure that they were sort of formatted similarly as best I could. And so again, the map is on the background layer with the text layer on top at like a 70 or 75% opacity, and then the banner across the top. And for this one I brought in the Tough word art, and also this from the Wild kit, this branch element from the Wild kit. And I did the hearts again. Now the text on this one is smaller because there was so much more that he had written. So this was his first page, and then this is his second page. And there was less text on the second page, so it's a little bit bigger again. And I also, again, brought in the banner, did a digital element, digital word art, and then the rest of the story. And there was some space left at the bottom. So I brought in the photo that, one of the photos we took after he had come back, of us together. And that worked out really well. I had originally wanted that somewhere on the Project Life layout itself, and that didn't work out exactly, and so that gives that a good place, a good landing place for that. So that is basically this layout and wraps up. I know that this has been a really long one, and it took a long time to plan it and to put it all together, and it's a lot of information on this layout. It's not quite a week in the life because it's not as detailed as that, but it is more detailed than my usual project life layouts. And so I think there's merit. There's a tremendous amount of merit in this kind of documenting. And you know, it's something that I've done before where he was out of town. Let's see, that last one that I did like that. Let me see where here it is right here, and so it's, you know, kind of a similar format, although on this one I used the 3x4s and I did all the journaling myself. So I'm really happy with both of these layouts, and I'm glad that I have both of these stories told. I think it's fascinating to see the contrast between our everyday life and then what he's doing while he's gone, and being connected to him in that way, you know, through photographs and texts, is really cool. You know, you could most certainly include some of your texts or all of your texts. I can tell you that some of our texts are pretty private, you know, so, and that's okay. So I probably don't think that I will do that personally, but it is something that you could do if your significant other travels and you're looking for a way to document the together but separate aspect of traveling. So I hope you've enjoyed following along with this layout this week. I think that I am going to wrap up this album with this layout. It's almost the end of May. I might put one more layout in this album, but then I think that 2016, or this half of 2016, is going to be done. So thanks so much for watching, you guys, and have a great week, and then I'll see you next Tuesday with another Project Life layout. Bye bye.